Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we've got a new Kangaskhan to be talking about. We had a few days there without reveals. I was starting to get a little bit sad, but now we got a new Kangaskhan, and I'm all happy again. Translation here, of course, comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet, one of our very, very favourites on this channel. Now, 130 HP is high for a basic. It's not unheard of, but it's pretty gosh darn high. It's what we're looking for. Retreat cost of 2 means free retreat with air balloon, which is nice, and weakness to fighting, I honestly believe, sucks right now. Now the Rebel Clash is out, Pikachu and Zekrom has proven to be the best deck in the format, and if it's not, someone's going to have to go and disprove that. Because as it stands at the moment, it's the best deck in the format. Weak to fighting. So Dene GX is the best support Pokemon we've got at the moment in terms of just playing a basic and getting a new hand, extra cards, etc. That's weak to fighting. It looks like when Darkness Ablaze comes out, the best deck may very well be Eternatus VMAX, weak to fighting. And the next Pokemon which is really going to come around and challenge the Dene for the crown of best basic Pokemon that gives you a new hand, draws you cards, etc. is Crobat V, weak to fighting. Which means I'm thinking fighting is about to get a whole bunch more popular. And that's not ideal. When you're playing a Pokemon that is weak to fighting, you have been warned. And to be honest with you, it doesn't get too much better from there because you're a colourless Pokemon. You are hitting absolutely nothing for weakness, and that is, frankly, a little bit sad. Yes, you get to use Twin Energy, and as a non-V, non-GX Pokemon, you will be able to use it. But you're not using Twin Energy because you are a colourless Pokemon. You're using it because you're a non-V, non-GX. We're going to need some decent attacks to make this worth it. And the first one, it's the kind of attack we've seen several times before, and it's not a bad one at all. You see, for 2 energy, you do 30 damage. And if any of your Pokemon were KO'd during your opponent's last turn, you do an extra 90 damage, 120 damage in total. So essentially, you have a Pokemon KO'd, you bring up Kangaskhan, you attach a Twin Energy because it is just a Twin Energy attack, and then you're doing 120 damage. And I like this, but I'm not sure I love it. Now, to jump in the time machine a little bit, one of my very, very favourite cards we've ever had in the game, and I don't mean that as an exaggeration, it was instrumental in the deck I used to grind into the World Championships in 2012, was Terrakion. Now, I did play it at Worlds in 2012, along with Celebi and Tornadus, and Mewtwo, obviously. And I did also play it in a number of other decks. I played it with Terrakion EX. That was a deck I loved. It wasn't a particularly good deck, but it was absolutely a deck that I loved. And I even played it back in the day with Empoleon. And there aren't a huge amount of people that can say that. And the thing is, I played it for a very similar attack. Now, it was 2 energy, but you couldn't pay it with just a single card, like you can with this. And it did 90 damage if you had a Pokemon KO during your opponent's last turn, rather than 120. So why do I like Terrakion so much more than Kangaskhan? Weakness. You see, it might have only hit 90 damage, but back when Terrakion was a thing, arguably, the very, very best Pokemon in the entire game was the Darkrai from Dark Explorers. And honestly, Mewtwo was the only one that gave it a run for its money. So, you got a one-hit KO. And it was brilliant. The question for Kangaskhan is, what are you one-hit KOing? What are you going to be able to actually use this to take down? And there are a bunch of things. I mean, generally speaking, this is going after support Pokemon. Your opponent's Jirachi, he gone. Your opponent's Chinchino, he gone. Etc. You're going after all of these support Pokemon. But you are getting a lot of non-GXs as well. I mean, something like Blacephalon here, one of the very best cards in the game, will survive the rotation. you get a one-hit KO. Incidentally, right, I talk about the difference between 120 and 130 a lot. It is one of the key number distinctions in the Pokemon TCG at the moment. This is a great example. Now, it's not that Kangaskhan cannot hit Pokemon for 130. Vitality Band will let you do it. Galarian Zigzagoon will let you do it. But it's the difference between having to have those cards to do the extra damage and not. So I like Kangaskhan. If it wasn't a basic, I'd like it not much at all, but it is. If we didn't have Twin Energy, I wouldn't like it as much, but we do. It really is a matchup thing. Like, if you're going into a matchup against, let's say, Pikachu and Zekrom, now maybe they're playing Zapdos. You'll get a KO on Zapdos. Outside of that, you're two-hit KOing Pikarom. And look, you're two-hit KOing for 3 prizes, they're one-hit KOing for 1 prize, so you're still winning the prize race, but then again, they can start mucking about with stuff like Mallow and Lana to heal, and then it starts going against you. This is actually really good at two-hit KOing Pokemon Vs and GXs, but you're 3-hit KOing most tag teams, and you're 3-hit KOing VMAXs. But against single prize Pokemon, against non-V, non-GX Pokemon, this is actually a really nice one to have in your back pocket. I mean, at the moment, if you're looking for a basic Pokemon to take down Blacephalon, we're looking at Tapu Fini. Single colorless energy, 100 damage, as long as you're against an Ultra Beast, which you are, and your water type you hit for weakness, etc. The thing is, if your opponent's got a Jirachi in the active, Tapu Fini isn't doing very much. If your opponent takes a KO and you want to boss his orders and take out their Cinccino to try and make sure they don't have any draw power, Tapu Fini's not going to... Well, okay, it will for free energy, but let's just pretend that's not happening. This is nice. Now, the thing to remember is it's got to be used after a KO. It's a very reactive attack, so you need either gusting or you need to be happy hitting what is in the active. And sometimes you will. And this is alright. It's a nice little attack. It is not a Pokemon around which to build a deck, like I did for Terrakion, but then again, even Terrakion, it was far from the only Pokemon in the deck anytime I built it, and also, I was making a direct counter to what was a huge portion of the metagame, so it was kind of justified, I think. But my point here is, if you're looking for a basic Pokemon that can take out single prize Pokemon for a single energy attachment, this has got your back. You need to be playing Twin Energy anyway, or you need to be playing Welder anyway, although to be fair, in a Welder deck, you're probably playing Volcanion. Volcanion, to be fair, 2 energy only hits 110, and this hits 120, but then Volcanion's got that really nice energy acceleration attack, so... Look, the fact of the matter, and it hits for weakness. If this hit for weakness, oh my goodness, I'd be all over it. As it is still a nice tech. I'm not as bored as I would be if I could be hitting a good weakness. But you will get some key KOs with this, let's be super clear. Now, if you want to add a third energy, you can just do a flat 100. It's uninspiring. Bearing in mind, right, I just dinged Tapu Fini for exactly that. And I know you can welder and attach for the turn and boom 100, but no. 2 energy 120, I am really quite liking. 3 energy 100, it's not efficient. I think we can do a lot better in pretty much every deck. Which does leave Kangaskhan in purely tech territory. The only attack of it I like is very much a retaliation, but even then, even as a retaliation attack, you've got to be extremely careful as to what you can get a KO on. Don't get me wrong, if you're playing Kangaskhan, there will be games where you add that third energy and start taking out these Pokemon. But it's simple things like all of a sudden you're now not getting a KO on Blacephalon, which is probably going to be one of the best single prize Pokemon moving forward. You're not getting a one-hit KO on Zapdos anymore, etc. There is a gigantic difference between 100 and 120. Now, before we finish here, I do need to just give a quick shout out to something that, now I was unaware, Antoine actually clued me into this. Alolan Golem GX has an attack called Hammer In. I should mention this attack from Kangaskhan is called Hammer In. And it's entirely colourless energy, rather than lightning double colourless. It does an extra 20 damage over Alolan Golem's attack. It is on a basic rather than a stage 2, and I still don't like it. It is inarguably a better version of a stage 2 two-prize Pokemon's attack, and I still don't like it. Press F in the comments for Alolan Golem, would ya? For the time being, I'm giving Kangaskhan between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. You ain't making a Kangaskhan deck anytime soon, but you absolutely are going to be able to use this as a brilliant option for just taking down single prize Pokemon with a basic for 2 energy. It's as simple as that. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about Kangaskhan. Are you sitting there going, no, Wossie, I am going to make a Kangaskhan deck? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WossiePlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but are pretty gosh darned awesome nonetheless. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.